All right. In the live video. Okay, so I'm in here now. You're live now. That's what it's saying. It's been a while since I actually went live on this. What the hell is that? Y'all hear that horn? Maybe it's giving me something to make the video entertaining, I guess. Okay. Yes, indeed. You know, that's something how you, before you go live, it looks like, um, I guess I can just talk about a little something, man. Let's see, creating something. They say it's create a video, so that's what I'm doing. Um, I don't believe in. Well, let me rephrase that because I don't really like using the word because believe is just all that associated with cults, something that you can't prove. Knowing something and believing something. You see what I'm saying? Just like, yeah. So I don't like to go off of belief. Just like if I say that you are what your father is, which that's the stage I'm in my life right now. You are your father. You are what your father is. We all know that um, uh, a seed, a bloodline, what determines your tribe, your nation of people is the nationality of what your father called himself. Like if he had to go fill out an application, what would he put down on his application? Will he put Australian? Will he put what's this other name? Will he put? Now we know we all use the regular term here in America, African American or whatever. Whatever you call yourself, or whatever town, or state, or city, uh, region you was born in, whether you was from Greece or whatever, you was born and raised in Greece, then more than likely that person will put that down on their application or something. You see what I'm saying? Um, yeah, yeah, they'll put Greece, so-called Grecian or whatever, or so-called whatever it is. What's some other name? Portugal, whatever, so-called Portugal. You know, if you was born and raised, you'll put that. You know, but I really realized that everybody. Let me clear this up. Everybody, a location doesn't determine your nationality. Just because you was born in a location, because you have so-called black people are born all over in every parts of the world. There is not nowhere you can go you won't find us. Just like where you, no matter where you go, you're gonna see a so-called white man. You're gonna see a now when we say so-called white man, he's not really white. He's red. You know what I'm saying? So um, every location, like Europe, Europe is a location. The name itself, just saying that a person is from Europe alone doesn't determine their nationality or whatever. I'm talking about especially if you're a black Latino, so-called black or so-called a Latino or Native American or something, because you have Native American people who are born in Spain, who were born in Mexico, who was born. You got Portugal or Portuguese people who were born in Mexico. You see what I'm saying? So you can't judge. You have to judge people by their spirit. You know what they say to you and stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because just like everybody was not slaves. You see what I'm saying? There's a everybody wasn't born a slave. Everybody was not. Everybody wasn't part of the slave trade. Just like everybody is not didn't experience living in poverty. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, everybody don't experience living in poverty. Like our people over here, us. You know what I mean? Everybody didn't go through that. No poverty. Liking, you got to go from 1 month to the next month. Go light on this here, go light on that, because you know we got the whole month. Nobody else is. A lot of people didn't go through that. A lot of people wasn't born into the struggle. You see what I'm saying? You like myself were born into the struggle. You see what I'm saying? So I can relate to that. You see what I'm saying? So this modern day struggle ties into into the modern the ancient slavery or the ancient struggle. You see what I'm saying? So you can't, like, okay, it seems like I'm going all over the place, but my whole point is a location does not determine your nationality. Location don't determine it. Your DNA of who, whatever that man is, or whatever that woman, well, the man carries the seed, so you have to go by the man. You see what I'm saying? So that's what determines your tribe, not necessarily your locations and where a location is and where you. Just because you telling me you from a location, I still got to ask you what is your bloodline, what is your father's, what is your bloodline, what nation of people that you derive from, not what location you came from. It's going to determine your nationality, because you have Latinos, you have Hispanic, and all of that, just like you have Spaniards over in Europe and all that over in Spain and stuff like that. You can't determine a person's nationality unless you ask them. You see what I'm saying? You still got to ask the person who they are or whatever. You know what I mean? And if they say things like I don't know, if they say things like, you know what I'm saying, like different things of that nature, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we may have people all over. You know, somebody can call from Europe and say, oh, you know what I'm saying, and they can say, people can say, oh, you got family in Portuguese or whatever. Well, what do you know what part of Portuguese that your family's from? I'm just making up an example, although I know that I don't. You know what I mean? I can say that I don't. You know what I mean? I know for a fact or whatever. You know, I can say that. You know, I don't have no family from Portugal or Portuguese or whatever. But I'm just saying, just for an example. This is just for the record. Not saying I am saying that. If somebody asks me, "Oh, you got family in Portuguese or whatever," and I can say, "Well, do you know what location that they was born and raised, and the exact location, the time, and the period, and the date?" No, hell no, I don't know the location. None. I have no idea. So if you say, "Well, I don't know what location or what part or whatever or something like that," you see what I'm saying? Then I'm not, based upon that logic alone, then I'm not from there, because anybody can live over there in a land and can claim a land or claim that property to be theirs. They can say, oh, they from there because of that. Anybody can come up and say that. But is that where they originate from? No. A lot of times it doesn't. Just like over here in America, you got people who come here from China, Chineses who are born, and Filipinos or whatever, who will come here and they are born and raised here, right here in America. But does this mean this is their location? No. Their homeland. They know. Do they know where they go back to? Yes, absolutely. You have a lot of people that don't know where they go back to. You see what I'm saying? Like we don't know for sure. You know, I can say, oh, some part of Spain or some part of Europe or some part of this here or this and that and the third, but I can't give you a for sure answer. You see what I'm saying? I can't give you. You see what I'm saying? You see how I'm reluctant now? You see what I'm saying? But when you find somebody that don't stutter and they say they can give you the exact, boom, 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 they can speed give it to you. And I know exactly where I come, because you have some people like that. You have the other Portuguese and all these people, the Spaniards and all this here. They can tell you exactly where they from and the location and all of that. You got the Polynesians and all these people. You have the Egyptians. You have the Africans, and all of those people. They can tell you where they from. They can tell you exactly the location and everything, and where they was born and where they came from, where they descend from, the location exactly where their ancestors be. But the so-called Hispanics, blacks, Native American people, the Northern Kingdom, the Puerto Ricans, and all of them, we'll be like, I don't know, I got to check into it. We'll say things like, well, which I don't, what they'll say, well, we got to go and just do some research and search and things of that nature, and stuff of that nature, you know what I mean? And a lot of our people look into scientists, they look into like this Amazon.com and all of that. Am I saying it right? No, Ancestry.com and all that kind of stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying. And sometimes, like they say, you still don't even get that. You can have those things, and people can still you know, they're gonna go by they say going by the percentages and stuff like that. But more than likely, it goes by the seed of your father, regardless of what you. They say you mix. There's no such thing as mix. You are what your daddy is. You are what your father is. You know what I'm saying? It's not about mix. It's about what your dad is, what your father is. So that's the only thing that I can go on according to the to the scrolls. You see what I'm saying? Numbers 1:18 said it goes by the house of the fathers. You see, and there are other places in the Bible that say that Numbers chapter 3, I think it's in Numbers chapter 2 too, and Numbers 4, Numbers 5, somewhere along in there, you're gonna see the house of the father when they came together to sort out because I think that it's a lot of the Israelites like Zebulun, Issachar, and all of them, they were men of war, and the king of Judah and all those people were people of war. So they came out to pick out the strongest men in the tribes, and then what it was doing, it was going by the Moses. I think they came together and they was coming together to sort out from each tribe the name of the tribe that would be willing to go out on the battlefield and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And fight wars and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Because if you look at our forefathers in the Bible, they wasn't cowards and they wasn't punks or none of that type of stuff. You go right in First Chronicles. I think it's chapter 12. I can easily go find it. It talks about how Judah and I think did it mention Issachar in there? Judah and Issachar and all those brothers, they was actually mighty men of valor, whatever. Matter of fact, I'll take time. I'll make a sacrifice and go ahead and get the text. Hold on. Let me. Okay. All right. I think I went in there and got it. Y'all got it. Don't worry about the noise in there. I'm washing some clothes, a couple of wares and stuff like that. So I might need to stop washing clothes. I probably shouldn't be washing clothes on the Sabbath, you know. All right. Because I don't turn my stoves and nothing like that on. All right, let's go to First Chronicles right quick. And because you have to prove all things, prove what you say. You see what I'm saying? Let's see. They were men. I think I passed it up. Ray Montegar, Josephat Shear, Moeller, and Pope. Okay, wait a minute. Let's go back and let's look at let's see here. Well, they were men of war now.
Okay, yeah, this is it right here. First Chronicles chapter 12 and verse. Let's start at verses 30. No, let's start at verse 33. It says, "And of Zebulun, such as were that went." Hold on, my bad. Let me read it over. It says, "And of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, with all instruments of war, 50,000, which could keep rank. They were not of double honor. And of Naphtali 1,000 captains, and with them with shield and spear, 37,000. And of Dan, the Danites, expert in war, 28,600. And of Asher, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, 40,000. And on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites, and of the Gadites, and of the half tribe of Manasseh, with all manner of instruments of war for the battle, and 120,000. All these men of war that could keep rank, came with a perfect heart to Hebron to make David king over all Israel, and all the rest of Israel were one heart to make David king. Okay, so the purpose of them is to, they came together to make, they was making war. You see how David was anointed king over Israel and stuff like that, like what it just said. Now let's go to Numbers. Let's go to Numbers right quick. Numbers chapter. It's in several places where it talks about how the tribe. Your father determines your tribe. Okay. Okay. Let's look at this and let's read this first. Numbers 1 and 18. It said, "And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigree." A pedigree, they declared their pedigrees. Pedigrees is a family tree. Your father determines the family tree. After their families by the house of their fathers, according to the numbers of the names from 20 years old and upward by their posts. Now let's go and let's skip to verse let's start down here at verse 20. Numbers 1 and verse 20. And the children of Reuben, Israel, elder son. Elder means like the older one, the elder son, by their generation, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names by their poles. Every male from 20 years old. Now notice it always say the male, because the males is the only one that's supposed, the man is talking about, the man's supposed to be the head and the leader. You see what I'm saying? By their poles, and every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. And all of this is dealing with how Israel was not, they were men of war. They wasn't no coward. You can look at this book and you can see, just because you read the Bible, that doesn't mean that somebody's supposed to walk up and slap you and you're supposed to sit there and take it. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to protect yourself. Whatever necessary to take to protect yourself. You ain't supposed to, you're not supposed to just let people just come up and just hurt you now. It's not being violent, it's not teaching people to be violent or nothing like that. But you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a point with this here. And verse 21, Numbers 1 and 21. These that were number of them were even of the of Reuben were 46,500. And of the children of Simeon, that's the second tribe of Israel. That's the second tribe of that's the second son of Jacob. Of the children of Simeon by their generation, after their families by the house of their fathers, those that were number of them according to the number of the names by their poles, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. All that was able to go forth to war. Those that were number of them, even of the tribes of Simeon, were 59,300. Now, or that they were somebody going to fight, they were somebody going to fight the other nations like the Canaanites and all those people, because what they was doing, they was fighting for the land that was due to theirs in Canaan. You know what I'm saying? That's what they was going for. You see what I'm saying? And of the tribe, and of the that's Native American Indian. And by their generation after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of names from 20 years old, all that were able to go forth to war. You see what I'm saying? So just read the rest of it in your time to see what I'm talking about. Notice it always it talks about the male, by the father. So it goes by the seed of your father. You see what I'm saying? Whether you be a Chinese, whatever, Portugal, whatever that nation of people is, that's what you are. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't go by the mother. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what the mother is. It matters what the father is. So that's what that based upon this. That's why it would always call the man out. You know. But you have a lot of people in this world that will try to dispute you on that. But I have to go by this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's clearly saying it goes by the house of your father. Let's look at number. I think that's First Chronicles 12. Yeah, First Chronicles chapter 12 and verse 33. I'm back in the same chapter. And of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, expert in war with all instruments of war, 50,000, which could keep rank. They were of double honor. Of double heart, I mean, and of Naphtali 1,000 captains with them. That Naphtali was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. And with shield and spear, 30 and 7,000. And of Dan, the Danites, experts in war, 28,600. So all those people were people of war. Our people wasn't no cowards now. They wasn't no cowards. They stood for the Most High. It says, First Chronicles 23 and verse 14. Now concerning Moses, the man of God, his sons were named of the tribe of Levi. They was named. So that's what God called the Levites, like the Haitians, what they call so-called Creole, would be the same as Haitian, like Haitian, because Haitian Creole, they just have something in common, you know what I'm saying, as far as the food and as far as the culture and stuff like that. So that Haitian and Creole, this would be the real name for Creole, Levi. Levi would be, if Moses was walking this earth today, he would be called a so-called Haitian mainly, a so-called Haitian, or they would say so-called Creole or whatever. You see what I'm saying? The sons of Moses were Geshon and Eleazar, and of the sons of Goshen, Shebel was the chief, and of the sons of Eleazar were Rehabiah the chief, and Eleazar had none other son, but the sons of Rehabiah were very many. And of the sons of Izhar, Shelomath the chief, and of the sons of Hebron, Jeriah the first, Amazah the second, Jehaziah the third, Joachim the fourth. And of the sons of Uzziah, Micah, Milcah the firstborn, and Jesiah the second. And of the sons of Memariah, Marli and Mushai. the sons of Marli, Eleazar, and Cush. And Eleazar died and had no sons but daughters, and their brethren, the sons of Cush, took them. Cush, that would be the Saul, the so-called Ethiopians, and things of that nature. These were the sons of Levi after that. These are the Israelites, the Hebrews here. After the house of their fathers, even the chief of their fathers, as they were counted by number. They was counted by number. Because you go back to Numbers chapter 1 and 18, and you read the whole chapter, it's going to say the same thing. The number of names by their poles that did the work for the service of the house of the Lord, from the age of 20 years old and upward. The age of 20 years and upward. 20 years and up, you know. I guess that's what it means, 20 years and up, or something like that. So, on that note, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop this here, and I'm going to upload this to YouTube. Yeah. So the video is just entitled, It Goes by the Seed of Your Father. Yes. It goes by the seed of the Father.